HPV is also called human papillomavirus. The first thing you think about HPV, you think about cervical cancer. It's true, there is a link between HPV infection and eventually might change form to become cervical cancer. The person who worked out that link is Professor Hao Sen, who initially suggested this infection can cause cancer, and everybody laughed at him. By 2008, this is well recognized and he received a Nobel Prize. So what exactly happens? During the infections of HPV in the cervix, majority of women can probably clear this infection. But some minority, the infection itself will change form and eventually lead to cervical cancer. Think about these statistics. More than 500,000 women are newly diagnosed with cervical cancer every year. And out of that, 85% are in developing world. So in fact, there is a beacon of hope that cervical cancer can be eradicated if the women are protected by HPV vaccine. But if boys and girls are both protected by cervical cancer vaccine, then this can eliminate completely. Actually, there's a scientific model that shows that if a vaccine coverage is about 40%, girls' protection is about 70%, and that will create a herd immunity of about 50% in boys. But if the coverage only for girls is achieving about 80%, then protection for girls it's about 93%, but for boys it's only about 70%. But think about this, if the coverage is 80% for both boys and girls, then you reach 100% protection against cervical cancer in girls, and you also have protection against HPV-induced cancer in boys. So therefore, we know HPV can cause cancer. We also know that HPV is a form of sexually transmitted infection. We also know that gender-neutral vaccination, meaning both boys and girls are vaccinated, this disease can potentially be eliminated within 2 decades. For next week, we're going to focus on another havoc that HPV causes. In fact, you won't believe it, HPV can also cause oropharyngeal cancer. Stay tuned for next week's Putting Dr. G on the Spot.